With this plan, we are taking control of our future. We will no longer rely on others to defend our Arctic security or to fuel our economy. We're taking full responsibility for defending our sovereignty.
$40 billion and an entire frozen ocean. That is exactly what Prime Minister Mark Carney just leveraged to rewrite the North American trade map. While Washington stays laser-focused on the southern border and unpredictable cross-border tariffs, Ottawa just opened a massive, untouchable escape route in the far north. It is a silent, calculated geographic bypass. No more relying on southern pipelines, no more waiting on congested American ports. Canada is building an economic fortress, and they are doing it right in front of the White House. But how exactly is Carney pulling this off? For decades, the United States held the ultimate geographic leverage over the Canadian economy. If Canada wanted to move its vast natural resources to global markets, it usually had to go south. Washington controlled the flow, which meant Washington controlled the prices. But the moment the current U.S. administration began waving severe tariff threats, Ottawa shifted its entire strategy. Carney did not argue. He opened the federal checkbook. He just dropped $40 billion to militarize and industrialize the Canadian Arctic. This includes 4 brand new military operational hubs, heavy communication infrastructure, and the absolute crown jewel of the entire strategy, a brand new, multi-billion-dollar deep water exit point. Listen closely to what he targets next.
We will build a new deep-water port at Grays Bay in Nunavut and a 230-kilometer all-season road connecting it to the territory's border. This will help unlock mineral resources and enable their easy export.
What you just heard is a direct, calculated countermove to U.S. economic pressure. A deep water port at Grays Bay and a 230-kilometer all-season road. This is not just a local construction project. It is a massive geopolitical pivot. Carney is physically moving Canada's critical minerals, copper and zinc, away from the American border. He is pointing them straight toward eager buyers in the Indo-Pacific and Europe. Washington can threaten sweeping tariffs all it wants, but you cannot tax a supply chain that completely bypasses your country. It is an elegant, brutal geographic reality check. And this is exactly what Washington feared the most. But if you think building an Arctic port is a massive blow to U.S. leverage, stick around. Because what Carney is doing with the current global oil crisis completely rewires the map, and Washington will not see it coming. By securing this northern corridor, Ottawa secures absolute trade independence. The resources will flow straight from the mineral-rich Slave Geological Province directly to the ocean. From there, massive cargo ships will take it directly to Japan, India, and the European Union. It completely removes the middleman. It removes the unpredictable U.S. border from the equation, and it locks in massive international capital for the Canadian economy. Watch how Carney confidently confirms this exact geographic shift.
We will have open access to new export markets so we can realize more of the potential of these multiple new trade deals that Canada is securing abroad.
Open access to new export markets. That is the highly diplomatic way of saying Canada is moving its best assets out of Washington's reach. But this strategy is not just about critical minerals and copper. It is heavily about energy. Right now, the global energy market is in a state of absolute panic. Sudden military maneuvers in the Middle East have trapped 20% of the global liquefied natural gas supply in the Gulf. Prices are surging overnight. The global power grid is under immense pressure. The United States desperately needs market stability. American refineries desperately need Canada's 4 million daily barrels of crude oil to keep running smoothly. But Ottawa is no longer playing by the old predictable rules. Canada is using the G7 framework to position itself as the single most reliable energy provider on Earth, and they are doing it strictly on their own terms. This brings us to the most revealing moment of Carney's entire address, and this is where things get incredibly serious.
What the challenges in the Middle East, what the war in the Middle East reinforces, the world's more dangerous and divided. We need to protect our territory. That's what we're doing. Secondly, it reinforces that we can be hit from shocks from abroad, economic shocks, your question. We need to invest at home and be strong at home. That's what we're doing.
Shocks from abroad, economic shocks. He is talking directly about unpredictable U.S. trade policies and global market chaos. Carney is explicitly stating that Canada must build an economic fortress to protect itself from external coercion. And the $40 billion Arctic infrastructure plan is the solid steel foundation of that fortress. While the White House scrambles to manage the Middle East crisis and domestic inflation, Ottawa is calmly laying down concrete. They are finalizing massive trade deals. They are securing independent global supply lines. This calculated move completely neutralizes Washington's greatest tariff threats. You simply cannot squeeze a trading partner that no longer needs your ports or your pipelines. The physical balance of power is shifting to the north and then straight to the east. If you want the sharpest, objective analysis of the geopolitical shifts shaping Canada's future, you need to subscribe to Canada SR. We break down the trade deals, the policy shifts, and the real impact of every strategic move. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Is Canada's strategy of global diversification enough to bypass the impact of U.S. tariffs? Or does Washington still hold the ultimate leverage? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.